actually talking to an individual that these things are actually almost part of the everyday, which was my case, where they were starting to tell me what have happened to this one, to that one, that is something completely normal, you actually start to convince person that this is the way of life. To be abducted is the way of life. And that's, my folks, that's called psychiatry. That's a psychiatry. That's a dangerous, criminal, SIA psychiatry. What that was, for one thing. Just like with other things. For other things, by telling me that this thing can be repeated and done to me anytime in the future, anytime basically they want to do, that's basically a double rape. Okay, so what, you know what, coming next is my rendition or my extraordinary abduction, which have taken place in the end of the 1998. Or let's look what Norwegian and Swedish doctors, the prestigious doctors, the Nobel Prize Awards doctors, especially from Bergen, have attempted so desperately to hide and protect to very today, what is July 2005, 2010, July 5, 2010, from truth being announced to the world, or in other words, liabilities for crimes committed in the past, among others. And coming next, this formula is simply according to which these criminals play in order to accomplish these extreme political agendas is used in order to turning even those basically more resistant people like myself into blind sheep, or simply walking dead people. And it's made by, as I mentioned first, angst or neurophobia. The brain clustering is what I mentioned, with a threat, with a terrorism, like it was done to me, with the previous threats. And afterwards, what have taken place? So-called lobotomy surgery threat, which is basically death. What is extreme death threat procedure or brain operation delivered by medical staff, which was actually delivered upon my abduction, on what was conducted by medical staff on a real operation table. And it was after I was abducted, literally hijacked from my own bed in Miami, Florida's apartment. And this, what you have heard now, this formula, this success, is also the greatest accomplishment of medical experts from Norway, or how to basically strip one human being from everything and leaving him with and in fear only afterwards. Because that's what this is. It's a terror of the terrorism the one can ever imagine. It is actually really a crime of the century. Okay, so what kinds of people are running our governments, or I should say New World Order governments? These are actually a very, very, very scary people, as you will learn. Very, very scary. Okay, it was done, all this procedure, it was done actually with the help of what was my ex-wife, during which occasion I was dosed with the super powerful sedatives, or sleeping drugs. Okay, which have taken actually place not only on one occasion, or only on this particular occasion, but actually previously already on several of them. Because drugs are primarily or first tested in small doses before, you know, that real doses, you know, dose is given to individual, upon which he is literally taken from his own bed, like I was, to a hospital. The most meaningful, however, was the one during which I was in coma for entire 2 days, as I mentioned. That was the night where they have transferred me out. Yeah, I was actually unable to defend myself, and surrounded by what were Norwegian doctors from Bergen Psychiatric Institution, who had worked and performed their operations as well in United States of America. as I have mentioned before, the small country of Norway after Second World War did not want to stay behind in medical research accomplishments, and have therefore cooperated with the United States of America as much as possible. Did not even enter the European Union, and therefore was really depending on every new research accomplishment, anything new that would come, and therefore they were highly cooperating in this. I don't blame them really for that. I really don't blame them. It was just a small country, and it's a small country with 4.5 million people that for what have happened against her during the Second World War is just not a good thing. It was not the right thing, and they were pretty much left on their own to find their own ways to even exist. And anyways, this was my case. That's a little different situation. What was especially great about Norway, or this Norwegian psychiatrists, psychosurgeons if you like, what was especially great about them is that Norway, as I mentioned, was not part of the United States or European Union. Therefore they were like a little pirate state that could pretty much do whatever they want on foreign territories and never been held for anything. So they were actually specialized in testing techniques on live human beings like myself. When I have found myself on operation table, yeah, I was asleep but capable of communicating with what was medical staff. I was completely aware of my situation, yet I had no desire to defend myself from them, and due to several reasons. The first thing was that these people were Norwegians. That was the number one reason. So if it had happened, and it was in the worst nightmare as well as mine, I rather that it to happen with northern Scandinavian people, which I have always simply loved these people, so there was no point in it. The second, even if I did manage, even if I would manage to break away from them, from that operation table, this and that, it wouldn't last, because I'm certain that at certain time and points I would be apprehended. Yeah, too many people, simply too many people were involved in it. The third, many devices were hooked up on me. They have hooked up on me many devices, and I don't even know what damage would I suffer by simply ripping off all those things from me. Now, a speech took place after a while, or upon arrival to what was Miami Jackson Memorial Hospital, or in other words, when these drugs with which I was subdued completely, they have relieved a bit the sleeping drugs, and that's when this speech started. Speech on the operation table, basically, or during the speech, I was plainly threatened to be indirectly lobotomized unless I accept what